Okay, so I'm just putting together a little bit of a curry vegetable dish with some vegetables that I had in the fridge that kind of need to be used up. And I started dropping carrots on the floor, and I'll just, it didn't totally hit the floor, I'll just give it a little rest here. I started doing some potatoes, boiling them while I took the vegetables out of the fridge. And I did these potatoes really tiny, as you can see. I cut them up small so they cook super fast. So I'm just going to do my carrots here because they usually take longer to cook. And I usually line them up like this and just take the heads off like that. And makes them easier to cut, or faster if you cut several at once, but that's probably too many for my hands. Some people might be able to do that many. So just putting 5 or 6 together and doing a little bit of an angle cut, you know, fairly thin so that they don't take too long to cook. And then in my pan here, beside me, I have a little bit of water on high so that as soon as they get into the pan, they're hitting the hot water and will start to cook. So we'll just take these and put them in here like that and get those guys on high. The other couple little carrots here, and just on a little angle. And I don't have much in the fridge right now, so I would add broccoli if I had it, but I don't. I have some little cauliflower that pretty much needs to be used. And so I'm just going to put those in. And actually, you know what? I'm not going to put those in because I don't want them overcooked and the carrots take longer. So we'll just get these carrots going on high and we'll set the cauliflower aside because I really do want it not cooked very much because the more raw the food is, of course, the better it is for you. So I'll just set these aside here. And so I have way more cauliflower than I do anything else, and that's okay because that's what I happen to have. I'm not going to run to the store and panic myself about not having the right ingredients because, you know what, nobody would know the difference if I didn't tell them. Okay, I don't usually, as you can see, I don't usually bother taking the little ribs or the seeds out. It just adds, you know, if I get, I'll take a little out, but if it gets into the, if these little things get into the food, it just adds more flavor, right? Because it's all good for you. Okay, so the red peppers. And then the only thing that I have green in the fridge is green onions. So I'm going to add those too, because I need to have something green in here. And again, if you wanted to run to the store and get some broccoli and celery and things like that, you could, but I just didn't have time. So I'm just trimming up my little onions here, make sure they're rinsed. Well, actually, everything that goes into my fridge is pre-washed. It's just that these onions got a little wear and tear in them because I've had them for about a week. Okay, so, and I think that I will add these with the carrots just to give more flavor because those onions give a really nice flavor. So I'm going to put those in while those carrots are cooking and save the other ones. So the other thing that is always good in anything to do with curry or Thai is an onion. And actually, you know, I'm just going to use, this is a pretty big onion, so I'm just going to use half of it and use the other half up right away. I know there's all kinds of controversy on the internet of leaving half onions in your fridge, so I do, if I leave it, I don't leave it for very long and I wrap it up, but usually I try and use it in something right away. Okay, so I'm going to leave these in big chunks because I kind of like the big, chunky, not too well cooked onions. I'll leave those guys pretty big. Okay, so what I'm going to add in here is just a little bit of curry, not too much. because I don't want it to be too curry. Just about, actually, you know what, I'm going to taste that. Oh my, yes, not even that much, just hardly any. Mostly because there are some other people in the house that don't really care for curry, so I have to be careful with that. Turmeric to turn it that beautiful yellow. You can add lots of turmeric, it's an anti-inflammatory, and I would say at least a teaspoon of the turmeric. And a little bit of cayenne pepper, spice things up a bit, and some Celtic sea salt, probably half a teaspoon. And I'm going to use my little thing here, and you can see these carrots are starting to get cooked right away, which is perfect. Okay, I might just add my cauliflower now just because it is big, or I might give it another little chop here. Okay, so let's get the cauliflower and the onions and everything happening in here. And take a look at the potatoes that are looking fairly done. Yep, they do look done. So I'm going to add the potatoes to this once it starts cooking, and I might have a little bit too many vegetables for the pan. But you can see how that's really picking up the beautiful turmeric flavors. If I had peas, that would be awesome. But I don't. If you did, put them in there so you can see the beautiful little green onions. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that on super high to cook. I'm going to drain my potatoes real quick. But I can see that I overcooked them just a tad. So I don't want to add them until the last minute, so I'm just going to let them sit there like that while this cooks. And while that's on high, just making sure there's a little bit of water in the bottom. Although the less water you have, the faster it's going to cook because the food will come into contact with the pan. So I'm going to just open my coconut milk while that's happening. I do love coconut with the coconut curry turmeric, and that is going to be quite amazing. And let me just see here, because that can did not open very well. I'm not sure what happened. Let me open another one. It's always good to have more than one can of coconut milk on hand. That one actually looked a little curdled, which is shocking because I didn't buy it that long ago. Anyways, okay, so you're going to pour some coconut milk on there. Beautiful. Rinse my hands off. Put coconut milk on them. Now see how that stopped the cooking? It just, you could hear it nicely frying away, and now it has to heat up that coconut milk to continue the cooking. So this is where you're going to probably just, I'll show you the lovely picture here. You're just going to stir this, leave it on high heat, which of course it won't cook until I put it back onto the heat. But you're going to put that on there, high heat, and then you're going to add the potatoes. So I'm just going to let this cook up for probably another 2 or 3 minutes, and I don't want to bore you with that. But you just want to keep giving it a little bit of a stir. The other thing I will add to this is it does do well with a little bit of sweetness. So I'm going to add a tablespoon, oh, I'm almost out, of maple syrup. Okay. And there you go. Get this back on the high heat. So I'm going to leave this on for probably not even 5 minutes because I want the vegetables very raw. And then I'm going to add those potatoes to it. Okay, so that is pretty much it. If you want to do the taste and just see, that's always a good idea, how spicy it is or how curry it is. That maple syrup made all the difference, making it nice and a little bit sweet. But you can see how lovely that looks. Okay, so I'm just going to actually leave it on the stove and quit taking pictures of it. Let it cook, throw the potatoes in, stir it, and serve. Okay, that's it.